Call the police, I shouted in a panic. For my retirement, I saved $300,000. However, it disappeared with my eldest son's move for some reason. While my second son is arranging for the police, I contacted my eldest son. Then he shouted, "Stop it." I was surprised, but I had already reported it to the police. My name is Rebecca. I went to New York to work when I was young and had 2 sons. Both of my sons are already adults, and my husband passed away early. I also retired at the age of 60. I had saved $300,000 for my retirement, so I wasn't too worried about my life. However, it was time to think about my future life. In such a situation, Bennett, who had been living with his parents all along, decided to move out. Christy, Bennett's wife, had previously complained to Bennett that she didn't want to take care of me. I thought I would be told about this someday. I have no intention of being taken care of by Bennett's wife. On the contrary, since Bennett's wife can't do housework or cooking, I have been doing their share all along. "Have you decided on a house?" I asked Bennett one day. "It hasn't been decided yet," he replied, "but we plan to decide soon." "Let me know when you decide on your move. Diego and the others are going to take me on a trip to celebrate my retirement soon," I continued. "I understand," replied Bennett. "I'm saving money now, so I'll leave when I have enough." I shared my eldest son's story with my second son, Diego, over the phone. "In that case," Diego suggested, "why don't you try installing a security camera or something? If your brother moves out, you might be more vulnerable to burglars or something." "That's right," I agreed. The news said that elderly people living alone are more vulnerable. Also, this time the trip with my second son and his wife is a little longer. I was worried about leaving the house for a long time. I immediately purchased a security camera that my second son had researched. It turned out that she would be brought tomorrow. I never thought it would come in handy later. After hearing about the move of Bennett and his wife for a while, there was a consultation about moving expenses from Bennett's wife. "Mother-in-law, can we borrow some of our moving expenses? Actually, I got fired from my part-time job. If this goes on, we won't have enough money for moving expenses," she asked me. "What did you do to get fired?" I asked. "Please lend me some money," Bennett's wife begged, ignoring my question. So I reluctantly agreed and gave them money for moving expenses and enough money to live on after moving. "You'll pay me back properly?" I inquired demandingly. "Yes," she answered. She always responded well, but deep down I resented Bennett's wife. I wondered if I should tell Bennett about it too. A few days later, I asked Bennett why he wasn't preparing for his move. "I lent Christy the moving expenses the other day, so can't you move now?" I asked him. "Huh? I don't know anything about it," Bennett replied, surprised. "Huh?" I was surprised and opened my eyes wide. "She said she would pay back after moving," I added and felt my stomach drop. "I don't know. How much did you lend?" Bennett asked. "About $3,000, I replied. "What? Mom, I can't pay that back. I'm a temp worker," my son lamented. "But Christy asked me to lend her the money," I continued, not hiding my surprise. At that moment, my eldest son's wife returned home. I hurried to the entrance and asked her, "What happened to the moving expenses?" "I'm sorry, I used it up, but you have money, so $3,000 is no big deal," she said casually. "That's impossible," I said. "What did you use it for?" "Some brand name bags and new clothes. They were on sale and I couldn't resist. It's okay. I'll pay you back as soon as I find a job, little by little," she stated. I could only be amazed at my eldest son's wife's words. "I'm already retired, so I'll be in trouble if you don't pay me back. Do you understand?" I explained. "I understand. You're so annoying," she retorted. "Is this what they call bullying a daughter-in-law?" Bennett's wife added indignantly. "Oh well, I want to leave this house as soon as possible," she muttered. Today, Diego, my second son, was supposed to come over. Diego has a 1-year-old child. His wife, Judith, is a hard worker and is currently on maternity leave. They said that they would soon go on a trip with me, so we were planning to decide on the date. My eldest son hasn't returned from his temp job yet, so only my eldest son's wife and I were at home. "Christy, can you help me today since Diego is coming over?" I asked her. "Me? Huh? I can't cook or anything. I just got my nails done the other day," she refused. "Then can you set the table or go shopping? Diego will come over for lunch," I continued. "Mom likes Diego more than Bennett, doesn't she?" Christy snickered. That's not true. I just want them to relax since it's been a while since we've seen each other, I explained. When I said that, my eldest son's wife looked clearly dissatisfied. I don't intend to rank my children, but since it's been a long time since we last saw each other, it's inevitable that his family will be treated a little better. Although there are some difficulties with her personality, I have never made any comments comparing her with Judith. That should be the case, but my eldest son's wife hates my second son's wife and always picks on her. When Diego and his wife arrived at our house, Christy looked disapprovingly at Judith. You're dressed so plainly today too. Can't you dress up a little? You're in front of your mother-in-law? She tried to humiliate Judith. She never thought that way before, but it was insidious of her to say such things only now, when she wanted to make me look good. Don't worry about it, Judith. She's just in a bad mood. I put in such a follow-up, but my second son's wife looked down apologetically. She is always being bullied by my eldest son's wife like this. I try to protect my second son's wife as much as possible, but Christy seems to like it. When I returned to the kitchen, I warned Bennett's wife. Christy, can't you get along better with Judith? I demanded. I want to get along with her, but I don't like that woman because she has a gloomy personality. Please stop favoring her more than me, she retorted. I didn't mean it that way, I said. Is it because you have a grandchild? Christy continued. Of course, I'm happy that my grandchild was born, but I won't give her preferential treatment just because of that, I responded. Added, do you understand? My eldest son's wife glanced at me and snorted. She started sulking and drinking alcohol, not helping me at all. I wanted to say that she wasn't a child, but I held back and let my eldest son's wife do as she pleased. After a while, I heard the sound of my eldest son's wife and my second son's wife arguing. I hurried over there and found my eldest son's wife drunk and trying to grab my second son's wife. Diego was desperately trying to stop Christy. What are you doing? I exclaimed. I don't like this woman. What is it because she has children? Are you making fun of me? Christy screamed at Judith. Then Diego's wife apologized. I didn't know that my sister-in-law was so concerned about it. I showed her a photo of my daughter Mirabelle and I'm sorry, she explained. You don't have to apologize. Christy is strange, I uttered, added, she's out of line. At that moment Bennett walked in, and his eyes widened at the chaos in the room. What's going on here? He asked. Your wife, I began, but Christy cut me off, screaming, I don't care. I'm done with all of you. We're moving out and I'm finally going to be free. She started throwing dishes, and Diego and I rushed to protect Judith and the baby. Bennett managed to grab Christy and calm her down, though the damage was done. The room was a mess, and the visit was ruined. After they left, I called Diego to apologize. I'm so sorry for everything that happened today, I said. It's okay, Mom, he replied, trying to reassure me. We'll figure this out. Let's focus on the trip. It'll be good for all of us, Diego added. As I hung up, I couldn't shake the feeling that things would never be the same again. Today was the day when my eldest son and his wife moved out. After seeing them off, I returned to the living room. I was planning to go on a trip with my second son's family tomorrow. I hope those two can settle down now, I thought to myself. While my second son and his wife were taking a break after being served tea and snacks, I returned to my room and began preparing for the trip. Traveling would cost a lot of money, so I opened the drawer containing my savings passbook, which I had been saving for my retirement. When I did, I was speechless. Oh no, I whispered. Rushing down to the living room, I looked at my second son and his wife in surprise. My savings, the deposit passbook that I had been saving for my retirement is gone, I exclaimed. My words shocked my second son and his wife, and they opened their eyes wide. A thief? When did it happen? What should we do? Judith asked fearfully. How much was in it? She inquired. 300,000, I replied. In response, Diego and his wife froze. Call the police! It must be a thief! I shouted at my second son, who quickly took out his cell phone. Then a thought crossed my mind. What about the eldest son's family? They had moved out without knowing that a thief had entered our house. If something was missing, they would be in trouble over there. I quickly called my eldest son. Bennett! A thief broke into our house. I didn't notice at all, but did anything get stolen from you? Make sure to check when you unpack, I warned him. Huh? What do you mean? Bennett responded, confused. My deposit passbook is missing. There was $300,000 in it. Your father had been saving it for retirement. I've already contacted the police, I explained desperately. After a brief pause, Bennett let out a loud, huh? $300,000? Is that true? Yes, your father had been saving it for retirement since he passed away, I confirmed. Bennett, still panicking, responded, Wait! No way. That's... Not letting him finish, Judith interrupted. I'm sorry to interrupt your conversation. This house has security cameras installed, right? In your room? She clarified. That's right, I confirmed. It was installed in that room too. Why don't we check it? I offered. I quickly took out an old computer from my closet. I didn't know how to use a computer in detail, so I entrusted the task to my second son's wife. She operated the computer with practiced hands and suddenly froze, her face turning pale. Seeing her reaction, I grew suspicious and looked into the screen. There it was. At that moment, Bennett's voice echoed from the other end of the phone. No, don't call the police. Christy will be suspected of something weird. My mind raced as I tried to process everything. 30 minutes later, my eldest son returned in a hurry. Did you already call them? He asked, panicked. It's just a misunderstanding. I'll explain, so please don't call the police, he begged. I'm sorry, but I've already reported it. More importantly, can you explain what happened? I pressed. My eldest son looked at his wife with an embarrassed expression. His wife, however, didn't show any remorse and turned away, which made me even angrier. I heard that you received this as a gift. More importantly, if you call the police, Christy will be arrested. I'll return this, so can you forgive us? My eldest son pleaded, handing me the passbook. The moving expenses and apartment fees had already been deducted from it. This was what his wife meant by doing something about it. The security camera clearly showed my eldest son's wife taking the passbook from my closet. This is my retirement money. Why did you take it without permission? I demanded an explanation. Christy, standing next to him, snorted and claimed it was natural. I've been treated badly here. I thought I'd take this as compensation, she declared without a shred of guilt. You've never been treated badly. We've never forced you to do anything for the house, and you've had 3 meals a day. What are you dissatisfied with? I retorted. Blushing, my eldest son's wife rolled her eyes and said, I've suffered more mental anguish than my second daughter-in-law. It was hard when I was asked to come to the house and they showed my niece, Bennett's wife explained. Her delusional claim only fueled my anger. Taking someone else's property without permission is what thieves do. Do you understand that? I said angrily. I lived in this house too, so it's mine too. It's terrible to call me a thief, she cried. Please forgive me, Mom, she pleaded. Does she think she can be forgiven after doing something like this? I thought, feeling anger welling up inside me. Even my careless eldest son couldn't escape my frustration. My second son, who had been listening to our conversation, slammed his fist on the table and stood up. You've been saying whatever you want since earlier, he glared at his brother's wife. Mom has taken care of you all this time, so why are you acting like that? As far as I can see, Mom has treated you well too. Brother, tell her when something was wrong. She's your wife, Diego demanded. Bennett swallowed hard and broke out in a cold sweat. It can't be helped. I didn't know, he uttered. You didn't know. Why weren't you paying attention? It's because you're not doing your job that she's acting like this. Besides, this is Mom's house, not Christy's house. It's impossible for her to take it as she pleases, Diego scolded him. Christy looked at my second son with a disgusted expression. What a mama's boy. Is it my fault? You're so cheeky for a brother-in-law, she sneered. It's obviously your fault. You've been dissatisfied with Judith all along. Why should my wife be insulted by someone like you? Do you know how much Judith has suffered? My second son fired back. The eldest son's wife turned away and hung her head. To calm things down, Judith quickly spoke up. Let's all just take a moment. Though Diego calmed a bit, he still glared at Christy. I'm sorry. It's true that I let my wife do whatever she wanted, and even if I said something, she wouldn't listen anyway, Bennett admitted, bowing his head. His wife nudged him to take her side, but he just shook his head. How terrible. I thought you would take my side, she said, voice trembling. Stop it, Bennett finally said. It's a fact that you stole it, he added. Hearing this, the eldest son's wife knocked over a nearby vase and turned away in a bad mood. Then the police rushed in, apparently startled by the noise. They quickly subdued her and turned to us. I looked at the security camera footage, I explained to the police. They reviewed it and confirmed that the eldest son's wife had stolen the passbook before taking her into custody. "Bennett, say something. Help me," Christy begged. She screamed as the police led her away. "It's no use," Bennett muttered. "She's too selfish. Why did this happen? I can't cover for her anymore," he continued. He looked away from his wife, hanging his head. "Let's get divorced," Bennett suggested. Upon hearing those words, Christy stopped resisting, stunned. "Wait, Bennett, is it okay?" I asked, worried. I warned her, but she wouldn't listen. She ignored me when it was inconvenient for her, and then this happened. "I can't take it anymore. I can't keep going with her like this," Bennett said, his voice heavy with regret. Understanding my son's troubles, I found it hard to blame him. After all, he was still my son. As Christy was taken away, Bennett sat down, dejected. Later we learned that Christy had also committed marriage fraud. Bennett was devastated by the revelation. Christy couldn't avoid imprisonment, and Bennett divorced her. She had to repay the money from the fraud and compensate Bennett. He offered to take on part of her debt, feeling guilty for not being able to stop her. I went on the trip with my second son and his wife, enjoying long hours with my young grandchild. Now I'm living with Bennett again. He has set a goal to quit his temporary job and work as a full-time employee because he has debt to repay. I'm happy to see my once unreliable son growing up little by little.